welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Killingsworth. Today our guest is Andrew Devereux, who was in the seminary to become a priest for 5 years. Then he was a youth ministry worker in the USA, Europe and Australia, and is part of the Catholic movement called Regnum Christi. Welcome to the program, Andrew.
Thanks, Mirella. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here.
Cheers. And one of 7 boys.
Wow.
And just great parents and just a great upbringing, very normal. Great opportunities for travel, education, culture and so forth.
Beautiful.
So it was just an amazing start to life.
And you had
I think one very important aspect was to see that the church wasn't just in my small town of Dunedin in New Zealand, but it was in fact around the rest of the country. It was over here in Australia and in fact over the rest of the globe.
Yeah.
And coming very much closer to discerning and discovering his will, right? Well, of course, and God is practical. God is merciful. He's the creator of the universe. He's all loving, but and our God has a great sense of humour, but he's incredibly, thoroughly practical. That's why a part of the history of the world now where it seems it can go either way, for the good or the bad. And I think God is calling and raising up those of us who want to follow his will, and he wants to communicate that with great, I think right now with a great sense of hasteness of wants to do that in a speedy way, so he can help renew this culture. So I do think it's complicated, but there are certain ways, and he works through those methods. A lot of people out in the world, Mirella, are seeking peace and happiness in the wrong areas. They think it's all pleasure-driven, you know. God created pleasure, but everything has its time and place. And so I think there are a lot of unhappy people out there, a lot of people who don't have peace, who want that peace, and are confused to find that peace, you know. So virtue over vice, to say no to temptation and yes to inspiration, you know. And our life just begins this amazing journey of faith, you know. It's a very deep question, because it's a very personal question. It inspires us inspires our decisions, the vocation that we have in life, you know, and especially now where we live in a world that's very aggressive, very secular, we need to turn to prayer to be inspired. Lord, what decision? I've got a decision coming up, even just for jobs, for relationships. I need your help, Lord. You know, and the young people, I believe, of today are really what we call the John Paul II generation, you know, are really catching on to that. And that's why we're seeing the churches little by little filling up again. We're seeing the World Youth Day, the phenomena of World Youth Day. Why do millions of young people come together to listen to, a man cloaked in white in his 70s talk about very demanding teachings of the church? Why does that inspire? Why wouldn't that be a turn-off? It's because God is behind it. It's because young people seek truth. They seek happiness. And this is not boring. This is an incredible, dynamic journey, you know. And they see an example of people who are not living their faith, or it's boring. It's because perhaps those people aren't really throwing themselves into it. You know, it's like anybody in any organisation, if they're not enthusiastic about it, how can you communicate that? How can you market that? So in a sense, we have to become, on a secular kind of viewpoint, marketers of the gospel. How do we make the gospel attractive? The gospel itself is attractive, but we need to come up with new means and new tools to present the gospel in fresh ways.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Andrew.